Once javelins of light fell from the sky there. He pierced the earth and set the forest ablaze, creating a land of torment.
How do you know that, though?
He believed it may have been the work of the goddess. But it was actually an attack by those who slither in the dark.
Well, I guess it's I don't remember people saying that it was a pillar of light. Maybe they did. I just remember them saying that it was the goddess's wrath, or Sothis' wrath. But what would clue him in to even investigate that?
That sums up all that we know.
By gifting us that knowledge, those who died at Aryan Road will not have died in vain.
I guess because they're thinking Sothis, if she can do that, she might do it again.
Indeed. It would be good to control the flow of this information.
True. We'll conceal this from everyone as best we can. I trust you, my teacher.
Uh-huh. I agree. But, there was something else I was going to mention, and I can't remember.
I'm sure everyone has heard about what transpired at Aryan Road. The Church has displayed their cowardice by indiscriminately using forbidden practices to kill the residents there.
Now this answers a question I've been having for a long time. Okay, so then my conclusion is the reason in the other routes that Edelgard didn't inform people the true purpose of her mission is because she was worried that if they had that information, what their response would be. It fits with her personality. She did the same thing, or when she was talking to Constance. She said, if I had told you my secret, you know, how would you react to it? Which Constance proved her right in that case. So, but again, my issue is not Constance, it was always Claude. If Claude knew the truth, I feel like he would have been able to act differently. But anyways. Was I gonna bring this up? It did cross my mind that Edelgard would bring... Well, anyways.
Their victims also include members of House Rome, the Imperial Army, and many, many more.
According to our investigation, the forbidden attack that destroyed Aryan Road cannot be used again so quickly.
And what makes you say that?
Even so, we cannot delay our efforts. We must put a stop to all of this by the end of next month.
But to all of this?
The leader of one of the Imperial factions has already initiated an attack on the Fraldarius territory lost by Rodrigue. Soon, all obstacles blocking our path to Ferdiad will have vanished.
Oh, you mean in the kingdom?
A cornered animal is at its most deadly. We must move quickly. Next, we march through the Tailteen Plains. After that, we destroy Ferdiad. At that time, complete Imperial control over Fodlan will finally be a reality.
Oh, I'm shaking with excitement! Bring on the battle!
I understand that a confrontation is inevitable. Still...
Again, Dorothea.
I wonder if there's some path we could take that would cause less suffering.
There would be, but it would have had to have been taken a lot earlier.
This is the only path for the goal we are reaching for. And so we must keep walking on it. We are walking down the path to a better tomorrow.
A cornered church? Well, count me out from any forbidden sorcery that can destroy whole cities. If only there was an easier way to get more information on crests and relics.
You are as negative as usual, Linhardt.
I mean, he's got a... Like, they shot a pillar of light from the sky. I think that's pretty dangerous.
We have but one order. To emerge victorious.
Well, yes, but there's many ways to go about that order.
We're going to win this. We really are. After all, if we lose, everything will be terrible forever. Oh, no way. We can't let that happen.
And I don't think Edelgard knows this, but it's actually advantageous for her to say that because the Agarthans can't use the Pillar of Light on the church, as Sothis is sleeping here, and she is the reason, indirectly, on why the Valley of Torment exists, because she can block those pillars of light. Or her body is, this is where she was laid to rest. So the church, or Garreg Mach, is safe. And from looking at it from the church's perspective, Rhea would never use such a weapon on Garreg Mach. So as far as cover-ups go, that's actually a pretty ingenious one.
There's a lot to worry about, but I'm sure it will all work out. We'll win no matter what.
Well, I say ingenious, but again, that's assuming Edelgard doesn't know the information I know. It's actually the obvious choice to just blame it on Rhea. So, what was I gonna mention though? I need to say it before. Let me think. I think more so I was gonna say I wasn't trying to dismiss what the Agarthans have done to Edelgard, because I feel like I need to say that. But when it comes to if it's Talus, if I'm thinking it's him, you know, I got beef. I got beef, and it's simple as that. So,
Part 2. Crimson Flower. Great Tree Moon. Field of Revenge.
I have not seen Dimitri once in this route yet.
With the capture of Aryan Road complete, the Imperial Army moves to invade the kingdom capital. They plot to send troops toward now vulnerable House Fraldarius territory and plan to attack Ferdiad from two sides.
Wait, there's a paralog? Oh yeah, Marianne still exists. Okay, what happened here?
So, Aryan Road has fallen.
Well, speaking of, okay, let's see what's gonna happen.
Rodrigue, I swear that I will not allow your death to be in vain.
He does seem more sane.
The scouts have just now returned. Seems the Imperial Army is marching toward the kingdom capital. Are you certain about this, Dimitri? As king, do you think it wise to intercept them yourself?
They seem a lot more sane than I thought they would be. Like, from how people were talking, I thought... Well, anyways.
No need to worry yourself. Even if I am defeated, the Blathed bloodline will live on.
Wait, what you mean by that?
And the kingdom's territory has never been rich in resources. If the castle falls under siege, our loss is inevitable.
Do you mean... Oh, his uncle's still alive, I would assume, because Cornelia didn't kill him?
I will deploy my army onto the plains and wait for the enemy. Please, position your forces so that they can flank the Imperial Army.
Yes. Given the present situation, making the plains our battlefield is a logical choice. I have no objection. However...
Wait. The Tail Team planes?
There is only one person I am after. I have no interest in any other prey.
Wouldn't Rhea say the same thing?
I will take you at your word. Erasing the other child's existence is my task, and mine alone. I will get you back, Mother. I promise.
What do you think, Lady Edelgard? Will they shut themselves inside of Ferdiad?
Well, I'm relieved to see that. Yeah, I think that's all I'll say for now.
They will try to intercept us. Of course, Ferdiad will not fall so easily. Even so, if we were to cut off their supply line with a large army, it would eventually fall. It makes much more sense for them to wager everything on a victory at the Tail Team Plains.
Yeah.
The same plains where the so-called divine Saros defeated Nemesis, the King of Liberation, in a comeback victory over 1,000 years ago.
That, Rhea should have done that, alright? I don't agree with Nemesis and anything he did, but...
And about 400 years ago, the hero Luke created the kingdom by defeating the Emperor of the time on those very plains.
But Luke has somebody in the cut. Who was that?
Their goal must be to recreate that scene.
Yes. I suppose so. Although the Imperial Army is powerful, if we were to compare the strength of our best to the best of the Knights of Seros, we would likely come up short.
Really?
The Kingdom's army and House Blated are also renowned for their unmatched persistence. On the battlefield, it can be assumed that their one and only goal will be to strike you down.
Are you telling me to stay off the battlefield?
Naturally. You are their aim, Your Majesty. You must know it only makes sense to keep you out of their reach.
It's also me.
And you must know that, at a time like this, I absolutely cannot withdraw.
Of course I know that. That is why I will refrain from asking you again to stay away from the battlefield.
The Immaculate One, descendants of the 10 elites, and other extremely fearsome foes await us. But with the help of our friends, we have a chance of defeating them. We're the only ones who can.
Did you just say friendship power?
Within our group, I am included among those with the kind of strength we need to win.
That is true.
I absolutely will not remove myself from the front lines.
And I do think, even if Edelgard fell, a victory, like, this is it, right? Like, it means more for her to be there for the future of Fulton, I would think. I agree with her coming.
Professor, you have that same strength as well, whether or not you realize it yet.
I'm the only reason we got this far. Of course.
As Emperor, I must not die in this war, and it would be unacceptable to lose you as well.
Nah, I can die. You need to live on.
Until the very end, we'll survive this trial together. Understood?
Is there a sacrifice option? But no, according to, you know, everything that's been happening, as long as... Wait, this is April. Oh, come on. But nah, like, I'm not necessary. Nobody knows. Like, the tactician can die. The leader is the one that needs to survive. Right. Is there any certifications I need to do before we move on? I don't think so. Let's just go.
Dear Goddess.
Marianne?
Dear Goddess.
Which I guess, you know, another update for Three Hopes. I have since seen the Golden Deer trailer. Anyways. What are you praying for?
For your safety.
I have to live.
I'll do all I can to survive. But please don't die out there, Professor.
Oh, no worries. No worries. And I'm not risking putting you out in the battlefield at all. We're staying safe. In fact, who should I bring for the final? You know? Just now thinking. There might be, some sort of, I don't see Rhea being on the... We gotta fight Rhea's dragon form, and... Here's my prediction. After this, there's going to be another battle. Like, maybe it'll be two battles. Like, after we took out Edelgard. Because from what people told me, from what I've seen in the comments... Well, actually, it's kind of too early for me to say, because it's not the traditional spoiler, it's just something that I thought would happen will not. So I'm using that to make my prediction. I'll speak on it hopefully later. And if there's no... Yeah, only Paralog is Forgotten Hero. So after this episode, well, there's Paralogs. I mean, supports. But once those are over, then we move. That might be it. That might be it. So yeah, I'll probably do two support episodes then. One while I'm still here, and then another after I've done all the battles, because I'm gonna assume this is it. Though in the Tail Team Plains, because no. It says conquer Ferdiad, the kingdom capital. So That's confusing. If it's Ferdiad, then there's no way Dimitri is getting out of there alive. But Rhea might.
Before I left the church, I recall Lady Rhea saying something strange. Something about how she would recover her mother, no matter what.
Yeah.
Do you think Lady Rhea's mother is buried in Garrick Mach or something?
Technically. But I also carry her on my waists.
Once the kingdom capital falls, all of Fodlan will be united under the banner of the Empire. Isn't it thrilling? We're going to make history.
Only if we win.
Well, yes, I suppose that's true. Our opponents may be strong, but with you on our side, we can't lose.
Lawrence?
Personally, I take no issue with attacking Lady Rhea. But the eagerness of my fellow nobles does vex me, despite so many grand displays of piety from them in the past.
Right?
It gives the impression that faith is little more than a tool they use to maintain their positions of power.
It is. Well, for some.
I suppose I am in no position to judge them, being among their number myself. Still, it irritates me. What is a noble's duty, truly? I hope we will discover an answer in the conflict ahead.
That's what I've been saying this entire time, Lawrence. It's like, them joining up with Edelgard doesn't prove that she's right, really. I mean, not to say, I hate this. It's like I gotta watch all of my words. Nah, forget this, alright? If you really think I have ill intentions, then go ahead, think that. But, like I said before, the good nobles, the ones that I approve of, that seem to put their people first, are the ones that we actually end up taking out. And for me, well, I hate that. Again, this is being portrayed as like a battle of ideals, but it doesn't really seem like that to me. Like, it doesn't really seem like they're fighting against Edelgard because they disagree with her future. And I think that's it. Like, Edelgard isn't the leader who gathered up a bunch of followers, rose to power that way, and then declared her true purpose to the world. I mean, in this route she apparently is, but that's what's so frustrating. It's like like the other three routes are completely different from that standpoint, that manifesto. Okay, I probably just cut out everything I just said. Long story short, it's what I've been saying this entire time. It's like, I would love to get all the nobles who I approve of on our side, and it seems like they end up dying while the cowards are the ones who are actually taking Edelgard's side. Of course, she can remove them from power once this is all done, but it's just like, it's not just a lot of people have to die, a lot of good people who weren't wrong with the world have to die. And I just wonder, I can't help but feel like there is another way. Especially when I have not seen a single instance of Rhea. Like, from everything I've seen of Rhea, she prioritizes one thing, and that is Sothis, right? But if it was known that the Crests were hurting people, I would want to see, for everything that's happening, I would want to see Rhea in person make the decision that, because the only reason why I can see why Rhea wouldn't remove the Crests and tell people the truth is because if it has been revealed that she's lying this entire time, then, well, that would reflect negatively. She'd probably lose a lot of her power, you know, this, that, and the third. I would want to see her in person in an actual event put the people over herself. Not because I don't want Rhea to die. No, that's not the case. It's because Rhea dying involves all of this. You know, it's like if Edelgard could have just walked in or sent an assassin to take out Rhea, do you think she would have just done that? Like, would that have been enough for... Well, that probably wouldn't have been enough. Again, Edelgard needs to take down the church itself. And there's also her crest as well. That puts a time limit on how much, at least I'm assuming, that it puts a time limit on how quickly she can act upon her action, or on her plan. And the Agarthans as well. Because the Agarthans don't want Rhea dead. They want Fotland as a whole. And of course Rhea is chief among them, but still.
Professor!
Well, actually I would say technically Byleth, but they didn't know Byleth existed for a while. So yeah, I'm just saying that because of, if Rhea couldn't be worked with, you know, to put the people above herself, I would want to see that. Or I would want to see proof that that couldn't happen. Because there's just too much at stake for me to just go assume, you know? I need proof. Concrete proof.
Yeah.
But anyways.
All right, off to the kingdom capital we go.
Huh. I feel like I've said that before.
You did. It's not your imagination.
Yeah, you usually know what you're talking about. I just can't remember when I would have said it.
Last month? Ferdinand?
Ferdiad, the kingdom capital. From the Empire's perspective, it seems like the northernmost edge of the world.
That's fair.
I have come a long way following you in Edelgard. To think, what if I had succeeded Duke Aegir as Prime Minister? I would never have had all these experiences. I hope that is true. I used to be so naive. For now, let us join together and walk the path that Her Majesty lays out.
Oh, Yuritsa's back in here. Does he have his mask on?
Hey.
The war is at its end. Has the time finally come that I might kill you?
No, because I'll get Lysithea. Huh.
It is true. Those petulant fleas must be picked off one by one. They are nothing if not persistent.
You ain't attacking me. I got my personal guard. Alright?
I wonder what the captain would say if he knew we were planning to take down Lady Rhea.
I have no idea. Because that's another thing. Gerald had both sides. At first he was like, watch out for Lady Rhea, but then a second he was like, well, maybe there was no reason for us to run away at all. And of course, if he knew what Rhea was trying to do...
Lady Rhea and Captain Gerald went back pretty far. But hey, it's your decision. I'm sure he would have understood in the end.
That's true.
Now, onward to Ferdiad. I'm ready.
He would support us.
About that. Next up is the kingdom's capital. We're coming for you.
Said that before, Raph.
Whoa, that sounds familiar. Have I said that before?
Yeah. Let's try your imagining
Really?
things.
You're probably right. It's not like we've invaded the kingdom capital before.
Oh, Bernie's in here. I was about to say, are you hiding behind this door?
Professor, what should I do?
What's up?
Everyone's acting like this is leading up to the final chapter in a book or something. Is the battle ahead really going to be that climactic? Am I not taking it seriously enough?
You'll be fine. You're doing just fine.
Think so? All right, I believe you. I'm ready for this. I am. Yeah, we're going to win.
Mercedes?
When I first enrolled in the Officers Academy, I never thought it would come to this. I can't believe we're waging war. Against the church, no less.
Do you regret it?
There are some things that I regret, but I don't think I made the wrong decision. Even if our enemy is Lady Rhea herself, I am prepared to fight.
If the enemy forces come to intercept us, chances are high that we'll clash on the Tailtean Plains.
But it doesn't look like it.
The Tailtean Plains were the site of a famous battle in ancient times, right? That's what some book type at the library said, at any rate.
I don't know where we'll end up, honestly.
Rumor
has it, King Dimitri is always accompanied by a man from Duscur with a terrifying face. And what's more, this man is said to be so huge, he's often mistaken for a bear.
I'm gonna try not to read more into that, ma'am. Especially with... You know what? No comment.
Claude was known as the master tactician. There wasn't a situation he couldn't strategize his way out of. Whereas King Dimitri is known as the Tempest King. He is a force to be reckoned with on the battlefield. We still haven't ever faced him head-on. Can we do this? Yes, of course we can. I'm sorry. I let my uncertainty get the better of me.
Like I said, some people just feel like they shouldn't be here.
We have you, and we have Edelgard. Not to mention many other allies we can rely upon.
Like, that is not Ingrid.
Together, we can overcome even the most formidable foe.
Like with her husband, well, fiance. And then we just took out Felix, you know. Petra?
I have worries. What have I been achieving?
Oh, really?
When the war is ended, I will be returning to Bridget with much new potential. But have I had enough growth to become the ruler?
Interesting. Only you can answer that.
This is the truth. I will fight with all of my strength so that I will know with certainty. Bridget pride, techniques, and culture. I will be showing all of the world who we are.
It's actually a question. Would Petra
Professor?
make a good ruler?
Greetings, Professor. Nothing to report. The time has finally come to set out for the kingdom capital, Ferdiad. I thought the same thing last month, but I still can't believe the plan was to ambush Aryan Road. I know it couldn't be helped, but even I wasn't let in on the secret. Me! Not gonna lie, that hurt a little. Well, let's forget about that. I'm praying for your victory and your safe return.
Can I fix Edelgard's axe?
Hey there.
I can. Oh, wait.
Come back anytime.
Because I might use it in the battles for some unknown reason. I don't know. Or, you know, I can... If what I'm thinking happens, and Rhea's transformation is another battle, then it's better to save it.
I thought you were going to attack the kingdom capital, but you attacked Aryan Road instead? Well, you sure had me fooled. She's a tricksy one, that Lady Edelgard.
I suppose.
But this time, you really are going for the capital, right? I wish you the best of luck.
The Knights of Seros are led by the Archbishop herself, and the Kingdom Army is led by none other than the King.
You don't say. You know who I am in this army.
I have faith that the Imperial Army will prevail, but it still makes my knees feel a bit wobbly.
Shamir?
The idea of defeating Rhea is beginning to feel more like a reality. Some may say that I'm returning her goodwill with betrayal, but I believe I've worked off my debt. The real problem is a certain someone else.
Catherine?
That's right. She was my partner, after all. I haven't seen her since leaving the Knights. I can see her coming to slaughter me, driven by her mixed emotions of love and hate.
Sheesh. Sheesh. I am not having that take place. Nope, nope, nope.
We're almost to the kingdom capital of Ferdiad. Just imagine, the war might almost be over. But is it true that Aryan Road was annihilated? What in the world happened? What is the Seros Church, really?
I'll say this.
Fair enough. Let's just focus on this battle right now.
I don't want to lie to her. And I don't feel like it's right for her for me to say trust in me either. Because either way, you're lying to the group in particular. Oh! You know, I didn't even think about that. Like, Edelgard trusted them with the plan for Aryan Road, but still hasn't told them about the Agarthans, I'm assuming? Because what she's worried about wasn't a church spy. It's that the Agarthans would know what she was up to. So if she's worried that one of her friends was taken over, why not tell them the truth? I mean, it's more effective if she doesn't, you know? I'm just saying I wouldn't necessarily ask Dorothea for her trust after doing that. Fleisch.
Did you want something?
Not really.
Sorry, I was a bit lost in thought. Or rather, I was thinking about work. My brother had sorted out all his personal affairs, but apparently he'd forgotten about his work duties. So now I've got a ton more work on my plate. Oh, brother, why must you be so careless? Once this war is over, I'm gonna take a vacation and get some well-earned rest, back home with my mother.
Alright then, enjoy your vacation.
Professor, once you set out on your next mission...
Not this again. I've heard it in too many routes. I get it. I'll eat. But I'm pretty sure that's another sign that this is the final battle. Annette?
I'm sure my father will be waiting in Ferdiad.
Oh, yeah.
If I can avoid it, I'd rather not fight him.
That's right. I think I found out that you would also be too. The only route you don't show up in is the Golden Deer?
But I don't think my father is capable of betraying the royal family. Of betraying Dimitri.
He isn't.
I must be prepared to do what I have to.
Especially since Ray is there too. Don't push yourself too hard.
I'm alright. I still stand by my decision to trust in you. Professor, let's make sure we win.
Sometimes I wonder if they would be better, you know, like, is it... I'm not gonna finish that statement. Let's just continue.
If we win this battle, it will be an end to the kingdom and to the church. Under the Empire, an era of peace would begin.
In theory.
Many people are cleaving to this notion, but I wonder if it would really end up as such.
What do you mean, Lysithea? It's hard to say.
It's true. It's nothing but hypotheticals at this point. I wonder, was the collapse of Aryan Road really the church's doing?
Where's Linhardt? Where's Linhardt?
Or could it be that... Never mind me. Just thinking aloud.
You clever duck. Where's Linhardt? Then again, Lysithea does know about the Agarthans. It would make sense that... You know, actually... That's a question. Hold on. Especially since I just heard the recent conversation Edelgard had, it makes me think a bit. Yuritsa is not an Agarthan. He has nothing to do with them. So, basically, I think Hubert only told me that we're working with them. Or at the very least. Basically, I'm trying to say, I don't think Lysithea knows we're working with the Agarthans. And if that's the case, I think I'm taking back what I said about Lysithea being here. Because it's one thing for Lysithea to just say, yeah, I don't really care about Rhea and company anymore. But it's another thing for her to willingly work with an army who did this to her. Like Edelgard doing it? Yeah, the more I think about it, I don't think Lysithea knows. See, that's only something I would be able to... I'd have to go back through every conversation, every possible line Lysithea can have in this route, and see if there was a single instance of her knowing that fact. Because if she doesn't, then I take back what I said on even Lysithea being in this route. Because I was always wondering, like, is Lysithea's hatred of the Crest? It's not really the hatred. Yeah, I think that's it. Lysithea doesn't really hate well, she hates the Crest, but she hates the Crest because of what's been done to her, you know? So it's like in a list of priorities, it's like, yes, does she want the system of Crest to be destroyed? Absolutely. But I think more so she wants to take down those who slither in the dark. And granted, Edelgard does too. It's just, would Lysithea make the same decision to work with Edelgard, knowing that she is working with them as a means to an end? She might. But now I'm questioning, does she know? Does anybody? Well, maybe that decision will be made clear later.
I have a fiancée back home, and I promised her I'd come back alive. No matter how tough the fight gets, I won't die. I have to survive and make it back to her.
Hope you're not in Petra's battalion. I mean, what?
Reminds me, over 1,000 years ago now, not long after the Adrestian Empire was founded,
Yeah.
the first emperor and his army, with the aid of Saros, set out on a campaign to the north with the aim of unifying Fodlan. Meanwhile, in the northern reaches of Fodlan, Nemesis, the King of Liberation, raised an army to take down the Empire. Both armies clashed on the Tailtean Plains, where Saros felled Nemesis. As a result, the conflict ended in a victory for the Empire. It's known as the Battle of Tailtean.
Yeah, I'm aware.
When you think of it, as one approaches the end of a war, the sacrifices only grow larger, don't they?
I suppose so.
The winning side musters their forces and attempts to strike a decisive blow.
Because that's really what war is, you know, you beat the other side so much that they can't do anything else.
While those of the losing side make desperate attempts to turn the war in their favor.
Yeah.
Neither side will give. I only wish we'd consider those who lose their lives in that struggle. Yes, exactly my point.
Oh.
Let's be careful to ensure we don't lose our own lives, Professor.
You were saying you don't want to die. That's fair, I suppose. So Linhardt didn't mention anything about it. Again, Lysithea does have a slight edge in that fact. Hubert?
Lord Arundel. As long as he exists, Lady Edelgard will...
Yeah, who is he?
I believe I have explained before that he is the one who commanded the likes of Solon and Kranya.
Yeah, you didn't tell me though.
Cornelia, whom we defeated at Aryan Road, was also one of his...
Are you saying he's they are Garthans?
An irksome sort. We must not fail to be rid of him. He is a maggot, crawling in the filth of the world, feeding off the Empire like a parasite.
Yeah, I'm taking that as confirmation. He and Cornelia are Garthans. And see, that's the thing. I shouldn't have as much beef with Talus in this route, but in the other routes, he's the reason why I couldn't help out my team. He's the reason, like he's the leader of the Agar. Like, I got beef. Manuela?
Professor, do you mind if I complain about something, well, personal? Of course you don't. This army is almost all single men. If that marital status came before or during the war, I'm not to say.
Wow, Manuela.
The point is, I'm in charge of the infirmary. I wind up treating hundreds of men every week. I get to talk to all sorts of men from all walks of life, all of the time. And yet...
Maybe you should give up.
Yeah, I'm starting to figure that's the most realistic option. At this point, you're the only man who pays attention to me. I guess I'll have to take what I can get.
I'm sorry if I'm seeming cold. I'm a little upset that I had to, like, the battle's still weighing on me, you know, the consequences. Plus, I've already seen that speech in 2 different routes, so I'm more just trying other options.
When Edelgard first invited me to join this army, I, to be frank, thought her dream utterly ridiculous.
Nani?
But at my advanced age, I was tempted by the notion of chasing a seemingly impossible dream through blood, sweat, and tears. 5 years on, the unification of Fodlan is slowly becoming a reality. Now I feel it may soon be possible to abolish the nobility and create a world where none need suffer due to crests. You need not say anything. I will stay by your side and hers to the very end.
Honestly, I'll be frank, I think that's impossible. I think it's absolutely impossible. Why? Because imagine trying to eliminate atomic bombs or hydrogen bombs in our world, right? If one person, you know, like say some scientist, you know, rediscovers the crest, they will be back in full swing. It's like you're trying to... Yeah, you know what? That's actually a good point. It's like trying to wind back the time on... Like, it can be the case where crests become technology because they are, for the Agarthans, their technology as well as biology. That's the very... Ironically, you know, the very reason why Lysithea and Edelgard are so frustrated is something that Rhea was trying to prevent from happening. The very idea of being able to make more powerful crest users. So they would have to kill every single Agarthan, and everybody who has knowledge of how, because even if you remove the crest from every person alive, well, that's also impossible. Claude's alive. Like, he's gonna have crests. He'll know how to use them. Although he can, like, there's a lot of loose ends that just makes it seem like there's no possible way that I see, or at least the chances are very, very low that you'll be able to completely get rid of crest for all time. Plus, I'm not so sure how removing my crest would work because I have Sothis' heart in me. Flayn and Seth also still exist. Just things to think about.
Looks like we're finally getting to the end of this thing. Don't go dying on us now, alright?
I have you and Lysithea. I'm fine. Same to you.
I'm not planning on it.
Yeah.
If you're still alive when this is all over, then I'll have kept my word to Captain Gerald. Let's both live to see the dawn of a bright new age.
Honestly, I want to say no chance, but no chance because of you. It's like two things. Leone may have her issues, but like I said, through permadeath, which is when this mattered most to me, she was my rock. And it's still, even in this route, you can see why that is the case. Oh, and if you didn't follow my Golden Deer playthrough, I actually did not give Lysithea this staff. Only in the Blue Lion route and in the end of... Well, no, it's Lawrence's, right? So I gave it to Lawrence. And he did pretty well with it. It's only here that now, since I don't have Lawrence, I can truly use Lysithea to her broken potential. So... And last but not least, right? Yeah, that's everyone else.
This month, we will take all of the military force we can muster and advance to the kingdom capital of Ferdiad.
See, you said this month.
I have no intention of retreating to Garreg Mach after we've come this far. We will only return after we've conquered Ferdiad and put an end to this war.
Okay, yeah, this is it.
Be sure to steel your heart and ready yourself for the battle ahead.
But I'm still assuming there's 2 battles. I'm ready for anything.
Are you certain? If so, please help me raise the morale of our allies.
Oh yeah, that's true, because I'm leading this war. It's like, guys, the tactician, say we will win, and there's nothing that they can do. That would raise morale. Or, yeah, if the person, you know, who's making all the strategic moves is saying, yeah, guys, I got this. Okay. I'm eager as well. All the hardships, because for me, I did say that I wanted to do the Silver Snow. However, considering 3 Hopes is coming out pretty soon, if I do it, it'll have to be alongside that. And I'm turning it to easy, right? Like, this is for the difficult battles, for... Not that I don't like difficult battles, I mean, I do. When I found out that people thought that the Black Eagles had the hardest final boss, I said, alright, I'm doing this in Maddening. But this feels like it'll be the last, like, for a battle-wise, you know, because once I switch it to easy, I'm gonna have Petra, and I might just have her solo. But no, people said that there's like some dialogues that I should see. Even so, I'll take out most of the enemies with Petra using that strat. If on Maddening mode she can do it, then on easy, she should most certainly be able to. It's not easy, it's normal, but I mean, when the choices are normal, hard, and Maddening. Alright. That's... Oh, wait, no. That is not it. That is not it. Constance?
The war of Fodlan unification is finally reaching its climax! I must surpass myself in the struggle to come, if Her Majesty is to recognize my power.
You have nothing to prove, Constance. But... I guess...
But don't you see, your presence would diminish the grandeur of my achievements. The culmination of all my studies, all my magical experiments, shall be unleashed in battle!
That's another thing, I have Constance now. Like, there's so many... I got so many broken units, I'm not losing. There's just no way. Until Rhea shows up. Officially. In the dragon form. Which, I should also speak on that. My history with,
What do you require? Fare thee well.
I don't meet you. Dragon boss battles, I mean, they're the final boss battles in most Fire Emblem games. But... Oh, and if that's the reason that somebody's gonna tell me that this route should be done last, yeah, I'm not so sure about that. Like I said, it's the final battle in most boss battles. And honestly, I feel like even if in this route, Rhea shouldn't be the final boss. While she's responsible for part of the state that Fodlan is in, the Agarthans have the main blame. Even for Edelgard, they, I feel, should have been her final battle.
Oh, it's finally time to take on Ferdiad. Can't wait to get in there and show him what I'm made of. Hopefully I get a go at that Dimitri guy before all is said and done.
Uh-huh. Why would you want that?
You say he has inhuman strength, yeah? Best way to find out is to throw fists with the guy. He may be the Tempest King of Ferdiad, but I'm the grappling king of the world. My domain is way bigger. Grab a front row seat if you can manage. These arms of mine will knock some sense back into that towhead of his.
Some sense? He seemed more okay about this.
Word is, Garreg Mach's starting to look like a real town again. With the Empire winning one battle after another, it seems like the end to the war is finally in sight. There's hope for recovery now, even for Abyss.
In theory.
Here there was a pretty spectacular battle up there recently, but we don't hear a lot about that stuff.
Fair.
There was a lot of talk when it first started, but 5 years on, it's just a fact of life.
Also fair.
What? There have been lots of battles on the surface recently? I hadn't heard. See what I mean?
His model looked, interesting, or his portrait.
If we win this next battle, it won't just be a victory against the kingdom,
but also the church. Maybe they'll all die. Even the people from the church who lied to me and locked me up.
See, that's another thing. Like, in the Ashen Wolves routes, Rhea let them go free. It's just, there are so many instances where it seems like is just working with Rhea possible. Again, I'm not saying it because I don't want her to die, but all the people to lead up to her. Like, if she could be judged for, it's like, what would you rather want? You know, for Rhea and all the other people to live, or for Rhea and all the other people to die? You know, if it's like you want one of the people responsible for the world to pay, but if other people would die in the process, it's like, is it worth it?
I don't care either way. If they died, I would say, well, that happened, and move on. I don't owe them my compassion. They've never shown me any.
But you also don't seem to be vindictive as well, Happy. I noticed that about you. Even with Cornelia, you know? She's like, oh, well, we're battling. I guess that's the thing.
Yeah. Seems like a lot of people from House Road died in Aryan Road.
Yes, they did. Did you have a line, Yuri? I never... Oh, great. Well, so much for that. He might have had a line with, was it Gwendol?
I know Edelgard is saying it's the church's fault, and she hasn't been shy to express that. But that doesn't seem right to me.
What do you mean?
You should ask Edelgard or Hubert. They'd know more than I do. Some think that all we have to do is take down Ferdiad to end the war. But I don't think it's quite that simple.
You're thinking as well, Yuri. So then, again, will this be it? I mean, again, I think Rey is going to transform, but all right. Well, I got some things to think about before. I feel like we're in that state again where I'm trying to think things through, and once again, I'm talking to people who have had 2 years to think this through, watch all the videos, and if I make a single mistake, it will be nothing that the comments will just talk about that. I will say, I won't miss that. I definitely am not gonna miss that when I'm done with this route. I definitely felt like the other routes I could, well, the Golden Deer was my first, but you know. I'll try to comb over everything I can and try to remove as many things that might be a mistake as possible. But understand, everyone, I am human, and I am one person who has not seen a single video on lore or anything like that. So, because that's another thing, you know, like combining, there are some people who have, you know, played the game multiple times trying to find out even the slightest thing that people would have missed. They make a video on it, then it becomes popular knowledge. I know, because I would be one of those people if I had finished this game a lot sooner. But anyways, all right, I got some things to think about and some thoughts to consider before we move on to this battle, but yeah, that's another thing. When should I come back? I might come back here. Who knows? And see what Edelgard gives me. But for now, this has been Blade. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Okay, and now it is time for the question of the day. And I'm actually going to say it first because there's two things I want to clarify about the episode. And I'll do it after we say what the question of the day is, and that is, do you think it is possible to remove Crest from the world of Fodlan forever? As even if this is brought up later, you can still have different opinions on it, I feel. So, like if we get to the ending and says that that happened, I would still like to know if you think that it is logical for that to happen. So, with that being said, two things I want to clarify. One, when it comes to Rhea, I was not trying to say that Rhea had never shown any cases of her looking out for herself over the people of Fodlan. What I'm really trying to say is I wanted to see specific situations, mainly something like Rhea hearing about a noble who's doing misdeeds and not addressing it. Like, I don't know how that would go. How, like, when you have Rhea do things like bring the people of Remire village into the church itself, something she really didn't have to do. She could have just sent people to give supplies. Like, there's too much about Rhea. She's a nuanced character. You know, she's done some good things, she's done some bad things. And when it comes to that situation in particular, I would just like it clarified. If it's even something as simple as Edelgard viewing a noble or, you know, somebody talking to Rhea about the situation and Rhea being dismissive. But that's number one. But number two, about Lysithea not knowing if the Agarthans are here. I thought about it, and it is possible that Lysithea doesn't think Edelgard's aligned with the Agarthans, since Edelgard in this route was the one who took out Kranya and Solon. However, honestly, I think that's cap. I went back and I reminded myself on who Lysithea von Ordelia is, and in particular, I went to the scene after the battle between the three armies, post-time skip. And that's when one of the most memorable scenes in the Golden Deer happened to me, when Lysithea opened up to Claude and Byleth about her past. How House Ordelia was a part of an imperial revolt, how the Empire is the one who sent mages to her house, and those mages seemed like they were from another world. In other words, Lysithea has beef on two cases, one the Empire and two the Agarthans. She picked the mages out even in a battle between the Kingdom, the Alliance, and the Empire. She still noticed those mages and told Claude she just wanted to let him know who the Empire has allied themselves with. It was known pre-time skip that the Flame Emperor at least dealt with the Agarthans due to the presence of Eureka. At bare minimum, I can't see Lysithea not even asking Edelgard that question, because the difference between Edelgard and Lysithea is that the Empire itself did that to Edelgard and made her father a figurehead, right? Those were a bunch of nobles, but the Alliance didn't do anything to Lysithea. Not to mention that Edelgard, the Agarthans are neck deep. I mean, I'm pretty sure Talus is her uncle. Still hasn't been confirmed, but if that is the case, even though I said Edelgard wasn't a pawn before, the Agarthans are still tying her hands, and I want to talk about that in another video, but this would be Lysithea willingly bringing herself to the Empire and the Agarthans. And the whole reason that I'm saying it seems unlikely is because in this episode, we see Lysithea, just from hearing the attack that was done on the kingdom, she starts wondering if, she doesn't say it, but you can tell she's thinking, is it the Agarthans? I think Lysithea has a very keen sensor for being able to tell if they're around. There's no way that I see in 5 years that Lysithea would not pick up on their presence. Nor would I believe that Lysithea wouldn't at least ask Edelgard about the Agarthans. Especially since even if Edelgard's not working with them now, the Empire used to back then. At least that's what Lysithea thinks. So yeah, the more I think about it, I'm like, no. Take away the title of Honorary Black Eagle member. Lysithea, I think, is the worst one to be here, because she'd have to completely forget about her vendetta about the Agarthans. Or at the very least, this route should have had Lysithea mention that somewhere in their supports. Like, honestly, I think it's to the point where I think over Hilda, Lysithea should have been the one that wasn't recruitable. And actually, when you think about it, House Ordelia was even aligned with the Empire in this route. Yet for some reason, Lysithea, if not recruited, will stand on the battlefield. She didn't have to try and protect Deirdre. She could have just sat back with her family. But she did. Marianne didn't show up, Raphael didn't show up. Those two for obvious reasons, you know. Marianne's just, you know, not the war type. And Raph wanted to be with his family, but then the same can go with Lysithea. Her house would have gone untouched as allies of the Empire, and yet she showed up to fight, so. Perhaps I could have seen it if maybe Edelgard had opened up to Lysithea about what happened to her, then Lysithea would be more willing to trust her, but nah, unless I'm missing something, I don't think Lysithea would have as much of a problem on the system of the Crest as much as who did that to her. Because when we're talking about all three nations, I honestly think the Alliance didn't have too many problems. Because I never got the impression that, aside from that, the Alliance was a bad place to live for Lysithea. So, with that being said, please post your thoughts about the question of the day down in the comments below, and I will see you all next time.